All right, guys, welcome back to Freedom Steel. Todd Vandermeid, former NRA contract lobbyist and Illinois gun law guru. So, we went through the pleadings and the brief that the Village of Naperville filed through their anti-gun attorneys that outlined all the ways they think the text of the Second Amendment doesn't cover the sale of modern semi-automatic rifles. So why is this case important? This case is important for a number of reasons. If you're following the attempts at a semi-auto ban at the state level, starting with House Bill 5855, this is important because we now have this case that is in the briefing stage for a preliminary injunction. And the heart of 5855 is a ban on sales on new semi-automatic rifles. I mean, they go after rifles, certain pistols, shotguns as well. But the issue is it's a ban on sales. And so a lot of the same arguments that we would run up against are being adjudicated right now. And so this gives us a leg up. Because if the judge sits here and finds for law weapons in this lawsuit and strikes down Naperville's ban on the sale of these semi-auto rifles and issues an injunction, the chances of that injunction happening in the next couple of weeks are pretty good because the Naperville ordinance was scheduled to take place or go into effect on the first of the year. So the lawsuit was filed. They had a little time to brief this up. It wasn't the emergency nature of it because, there was time, June till January 1st, there was time for all this. Well, now we've got the briefings. So we have an open book, and if you follow through this, you'll see that all these anti-gun attorneys, groups, whatever they're talking to, the drag on for more time to hire a historian. Cook County's tried that in their ban. Kwame Raoul's tried that in some of the other cases that are being litigated against the state. California has tried that. The new bootstrapping of its in common use for self-defense, actually used in self-defense, was just argued in the Fourth Circuit in the Maryland Bianchi v. Frosch case. So we're seeing them come up with these new and novel interpretations of what the Heller and New York tests are. But here, if we prevail, if law weapons prevails, and we get an injunction against the Naperville ordinance, then that blows a big, gaping, sucking chest wound into the heart of what they're trying to do in Springfield. That just blows the guts out of 5855 or any other semi-auto ban that purports to stop the sale of modern firearms. That's why this case in Naperville actually has bigger implications. Now, let's say the judge doesn't go along with the injunction. Maybe they want to brief it out a little bit more. Who knows? But if the judge doesn't go along with an injunction, then that's an appealable issue up to the Court of Appeals. Hey, we're coming up on a deadline. This thing needs to be adjudicated. We need an injunction. And if you've been following the stuff with New York, so there's some interesting stuff going on out in New York with the carry law out there. GOA filed for an injunction against this at the district court. District court grants injunction, and then the state takes it to the Court of Appeals. And the Court of Appeals says, nope, we're going to cancel the stay. The GOA has then moved for an emergency order to the Supreme Court of the United States. Sotomayor handles these types of issues for the second district, which is where New York falls. The interesting thing about this is, according to the procedures and policies that are laid out for the court, Sotomayor can, one, take this up on her own and decide it. She can decide not to do it. She can decide to put an injunction in place. Or she can decide to kick it to the full court and then have a vote of the court and see what they want to do. We just had 6-3 on New York, and here you have the state of New York essentially flipping the bird to those 6 judges. I wonder how they feel about that. Or if she declines to do that, GOA can then petition another judge on the same issue. And they can do that up until a majority of the court has said no. So who do you think they would petition next? If it's me, I'm going to Clarence Thomas, the guy that wrote the New York decision, who in New York is now sitting there and flipping the bird to. They're saying, nah, we're not going to do this. We're not going to follow what you wrote. We're going to make up our own rules and stamp our feet and all that. We could find ourselves in a similar situation with law weapons, where the Naperville ordinance, if the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals does not grant an injunction, but based on the audio that took place in the Atkinson hearing, where the chief judge said the Second Amendment has gone from a second-class right to a supercharged right. Then you have the other Judge Stoddard, who in that case, in the oral arguments, when they were talking, well, we're only talking about the law-abiding people. Well, that's who goes to gun shops and buys firearms in a retail environment. You got 2 judges there that weren't signing up for what the Justice Department was selling in a case about felons regaining their rights. So I think that law weapons and potentially the GOA case out of New York bode very well for us, because if we prevail, if law weapons prevails in an injunction, then the state has a massive problems on their hands. And this injunction could come up right before the lame duck session. And if it comes up in front of the lame duck session, it is going to throw a big, wet, cold blanket on whatever they're going to do. Because now they've been put on notice for the federal courts in Illinois. Nope, bans on sales are not going to carry the day. Because remember, in order to win an injunction, you show the likelihood of success on the merits. And we've had 2 judges in Colorado already throw out semi-auto bans with TROs because they said the likelihood of success in lead in New York. So this is one of those cases where we build a wall, we build a foundation, we start putting brick upon brick in that wall, and it's a 3-dimensional chess game. And this is where if Judge Benitez issues decisions in the Miller case on the semi-auto ban, in the Duncan case on magazine bans, that plays to us. So if they do a injunction in the Naperville ordinance, I think it's going to really just put a brick on them wanting to do a gun ban in the lame duck session. I think it's going to cause them immense amount of problems, because I think the Speaker and the Senate President are smarter than that they want to do something that has the potential to stick. So I've been asked about an update on 5855. I will circle back with oh God, I hate that. That was Jen Psaki. I should have said that. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not channeling my inner Democrat. I'm going to follow up with another video that is an update on what I see happening with 5855 at this juncture, based on some things that we've heard. So with that, I hope this kind of wraps up why Naperville is important and the arguments we face there. So with that, guys, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the alert notification bell for all that. Share this, copy the link, paste it to your Facebook page, share it on social media, gun groups that you're in, wherever. So And with that, as always, frag out.